Welcome to the channel, I'm Hayes, I talk movies all day, sometimes I'll talk about games, so subscribe right now if you want to be entertained. And today, I want to talk about River City Girls, the indie 3D side-scroller beat-em-up from WayForward Studios. This is a spin-off in the Kunio-kun series which I've played none of. Well, that's not quite accurate. I have, but apparently I've not played enough River City Ransom games to know it was part of the kunio-kun series until I started writing this review. Anyway, this game came out in 2019 but has recently made its way to Xbox Game Pass, which gives a chance for some of us broke-ass gamers to be able to play something that we might not have played otherwise. The basic premise is a gender role reversal of games like Double Dragon, where instead of playing as one of two dudes whose girlfriend got kidnapped, you play as one of two girls whose two boyfriends got kidnapped. And that is about as close to normal as this game gets. Everything else ranges from creepy to why are they not in prison? The game starts off with the two girls breaking out of school to go save their fellas, so in response, the headmaster tells the other students to beat them up because that's a totally reasonable thing for a senior educator to do. The first boss, Mizuzu, is the head of the River City High Defense Force who makes more than a few inappropriate sexual remarks about high school age boys. And there is very little process of this, it's almost done as if it's just a normal thing, like we're not gonna talk about this, we're just gonna keep playing the game, okay. There's another character called Godai, and his story is that he was caught taking secret pictures of the girls' volleyball team. But you end up doing missions for him, so I don't know what the messaging is supposed to be there. By the way, Godai is voiced by Jacksepticeye. But putting all the creepy, weird, pedophile promoting stuff aside, it's a pretty solid game. Has the old school appeal for those who remember the 16-bit era, but it does embrace 2019 by having autosaves as you move from one room/street section to another. So if you lose all your health, you only start that part again. But it still has its challenges. You lose money every time you die, and you need money to buy health, power-ups, and new moves. The music, from what I can tell, is mostly original scores by Mega McDuffie, with a few tracks by other artists including Chip Zell. And if you don't know about Chip Zell, you need to get to know about Chip Zell. As far as difficulty goes, there's a choice between normal and hard. Normal, I'd say, is pretty moderate. Some stages and bosses are harder than others, some you might practically walk through, and others would have you taking a break every 10 minutes. But it never really feels hard, and I think that's because it doesn't punish you too much when it comes to repeating sections. Especially considering a lot of times you don't even have to fight the enemies, you can just walk past them. Though of course doing that means you won't earn money or XP. Oh, and by the way, you need XP to level up to gain new skills. There is also a co-op mode, but it is local co-op only. Bear in mind, this game was released in 2019 when people still actually mess up with each other. Well, some people, people who had friends. The controls are pretty on point, but as you unlock more moves, some of which have similar button combinations, it gets a little too easy to do the wrong move. Though to be fair, you'd still pull off a move, so you're still hitting someone with something, so it doesn't really matter much outside of a minor annoyance. That said, if you get knocked down near a weapon and you want to perform a regular light attack when you get up, you'd almost always pick up the weapon instead, which leaves you vulnerable to attack for a short period, and that's a bit more of an annoyance. And the map can be a little confusing at first because it's all 2D and doesn't have clear distinction between floor levels, but you get used to that before long. Now as for the hard difficulty setting, apparently enemies drop less money, XP and health when beaten, making it take longer to level up and gain new skills. But to be honest, it felt the same to me. I had to look up what the difference is and people seem to have disagreements on that. Maybe it didn't feel much different because by then I'm already familiar with the game and the play mechanics and whatnot, but for me, the experience is pretty much the same regardless. But overall, it's a pretty cool, fun game. Definitely worth checking out if you got Xbox Game Pass. If you don't have Xbox Game Pass and you don't mind a game that low-key promotes the type of thing that would get your name trending on Twitter, this is definitely on the more expensive side of indie games, but yeah, I think it is worth the price of admission. Unless the pandemic has not been kind to you, then you might want to wait till it's on sale. And that's what I think of River City Girls. What do you think of River City Girls? Let me know down below, and while you're there, be sure to like, subscribe, and drop a suggestion if you don't mind.